Imagine the future. Humanity has colonized the solar system. Earth is a superpower, Mars is a rising military force, and the Belters, people living on asteroids, are the overworked underclass. They are all on the brink of war, and it only takes one spark to set it off. We start on the Canterbury, a massive ice hauler. The crew just finished the job and just wants to get home, but they pick up a distress signal from a ship called the Scopuli. The captain wants to ignore it as it would delay their journey so much, and calls it off. But after hearing an audio from the distress asking for help, Jim Holden, the executive officer, tries to do the right thing and logs the call, forcing the ship to investigate. He takes a small crew on a shuttle called the Knight to check it out. But when they board the Scopuli, the ship is a ghost town. No crew, no bodies, just a high-tech Martian beacon acting as a lure. It's a trap. Suddenly, an unidentified stealth ship appears. It's light years ahead of any known technology. It doesn't attack Holden's small shuttle. Instead, it fires nuclear torpedoes at the Canterbury. In a blinding flash, the massive ice ship is vaporized. Thousands of people are gone in an instant, and Holden's crew are the only witnesses left alive. While this is happening in deep space, we go to Ceres Station. We meet Detective Miller, a cynical cop who's seen it all. He's given a side job: find a girl named Julie Mao, the daughter of a wealthy Earth mogul who's gone missing. Miller thinks it's a simple rich girl acting out case, but he's about to find out she was on the very ship that Holden just found empty. Back on Earth, UN official Christian Avasarala is playing a dangerous game. She's torturing a Belter rebel caught with stealth technology. She realizes someone is secretly arming the Belt with advanced tech to start a war between Earth and Mars. The episode ends with Holden and his small crew stranded in a dying shuttle, floating in the void. They realize they weren't just unlucky, they were framed. Someone wants a war, and they just provided the excuse. They're stranded in deep space, their oxygen is running out, and the entire solar system thinks they're already dead. Following the total destruction of the Canterbury, Jim Holden and his 4 remaining crewmates are trapped on the Knight, a tiny shuttle that was never meant for long-term travel. The blast from the nuke damaged their ship, they're leaking air, and their communications are fried. It's a literal ship. Thankfully, someone answered their distress signal, but they weren't here to help, as it was a Mars military ship. Holden, being Holden, immediately set up a communication to the whole solar system. The Canterbury was destroyed by a ship using Martian technology, and blames Mars for the attack. He just threw a match into a gas tank. Now, all of the system think Mars committed an act of war, and riots start breaking out everywhere. Back on Ceres Station, Detective Miller is feeling the heat. The riots are making his job impossible, but he finds a lead on the missing girl, Julie Mao. He discovers she was associated with the OPA, a radical Belter rebel group. He realizes Julie wasn't just a runaway, she was a spy, involved in something much bigger than a family feud. Meanwhile, on Earth, Avasarala is playing 4D chess. She knows the Martian tech used to blow up the ship is too advanced. She suspects a third party is trying to trick Earth and Mars into killing each other. She also had the Belter in her hands. Back with Holden, the Martian warship, the MCRN Donegal, intercepts Holden's shuttle. Are they there to rescue them, or to silence the only witnesses to the crime? The war has officially begun, and Holden with that broadcast just put a target on his back. The solar system is screaming for blood. Following Jim Holden's broadcast, the name Canterbury has become a battle cry for Belters everywhere. On Ceres Station, the tension boils over into full-blown riots. Detective Miller is caught in the middle, trying to keep the peace while following the trail of Julie Mao. He discovers that Julie was aboard the Scopuli to meet someone important, but that someone has been murdered, leaving Miller with more questions than answers. Deep in space, Holden and his crew are taken aboard the MCRN Donegal, a massive Martian flagship. They aren't treated like survivors, they're treated like prisoners of war. The Martians are furious. They didn't blow up the Canterbury, and they know Holden's broadcast has made Mars the most hated planet in the system. They accuse Holden of being a secret agent working for the OPA to start a war. Holden realizes he messed up. By blaming Mars without proof, he played right into the hands of the real attackers. But just as the Martian interrogators are about to break him, an unidentified fleet of ships appears on the radar. They are high-tech, they're fast, and they aren't responding to hails. On Earth, Avasarala realizes that the technology used in these attacks, even though it's Mars technology, it's still being sourced by someone not from Mars. It's someone wealthy enough to just do it and someone who wants to start a war between Mars and Earth. The MCRN Donegal was supposed to be invincible, but it's being swarmed by 6 mysterious ships with technology that shouldn't exist. These ships are faster, have railguns that shred Martian armor, and they aren't here to talk, they are here to execute everyone on board. As the ships themselves attaches to the Martian ship and the battle moves inside the ship. In the chaos, Shed, Holden's crew's medic, is disintegrated instantly by a railgun round that passes right through the hull. The crew fell into a big silence. But the attack is not over, and the Ghost Fleet is winning. Martian captain realizes they can't win now, with the ship's drive also destroyed they are going to be losing. To prevent their advanced tech from falling into the wrong hands, she orders the self-destruct. Holden and his crew are forced into a desperate zero-G sprint through a collapsing bridge with shooters all around and is doing some crazy moves to reach the only remaining ship. And somehow they manage to get in the high-speed Martian gunship called the Touchy. They blast out of the hangar like it's nothing just seconds before the Donegal nukes itself, taking the enemy fleet with it. Meanwhile, on Ceres Station, Detective Miller finds a data chip that Julie Mao hidden before she vanished. It contains evidence of a sun weapon that could threaten the entire system. Back on Earth, Avasarala hears about the ships that attacked the Martians, and it's definitely not from Earth. Someone else is trying to start a war to mask an even bigger secret. Holden and his crew are alive, but they are now the most wanted people in the galaxy, flying a stolen Martian warship. Hit subscribe for episode 5. The survivors of the Canterbury just stole a Martian warship, and now they have to decide who to trust in a galaxy that wants them dead. Holden and his crew are officially on the run. They are aboard the Touchy, the high-tech gunship they escaped in, but there's a problem. The ship is broadcasting a Martian transponder signal that says, "I'm stolen." To survive, they reach out to the only man who can hide them, Fred Johnson, the leader of the OPA. Fred Johnson is known as the Butcher of Anderson Station. We see a brutal flashback to his past as a UN colonel, where he slaughtered thousands of innocent Belters who were trying to surrender. Now, he's trying to redeem himself by helping the Belt, and he wants Holden's testimony to prove that Mars didn't start the war. As they move towards Tycho Station, the crew decides it's time for a fresh start. They rename their stolen ship the Rocinante, or the Roxy for short. They're no longer just ice haulers, they're now independent players. Meanwhile, on Ceres, Detective Miller's investigation into Julie Mao takes a dark turn. He realizes that Julie was part of a plan to transport a mysterious data package that everyone is willing to kill for. Later on, he meets with Anderson Dawes, the leader of OPA, a rebel group. Dawes talks about the future of Belter, on how he wants the Belters to know what it is to have free water, good food, and a beautiful sky, and how he wants Miller to join too. Later on, after more investigation, he finds a room where he finds a data chip. But as he leaves the place, he gets captured. The Rocinante is now with a new crew, a mission, and a whole lot of guns. Hit follow for episode 6, where the crew heads to Tycho Station. The crew of the Rocinante is no longer running, they're hunting. But the deeper they dig, the more they realize the entire solar system is being played. Now backed by Fred Johnson, Holden and his crew head to an asteroid called Eros. Their mission? Find a man named Lionel Polanski, who was the pilot of the ship that started this entire mess. But inside the Roci, tensions are peaking. Amos and Holden nearly come to blows over who's really in charge, while Naomi struggles with her secret past in the OPA. They realize that if they don't start trusting each other, the ship is just a high-tech coffin. On Ceres Station, Detective Miller has reached his breaking point. Anderson Dawes finds out he is trying to undermine his operation for Julie, and he's thrown into an airlock and is on the verge of death. But thankfully, Miller's friend Octavia found him and rescued him out. But he finally pieces it all together. Julie Mao wasn't just a rebel, she discovered a secret so dangerous that a corporate entity is willing to destroy entire countries for. But the cops are also under their control. Meanwhile, on Earth, Avasarala discovers that the stealth ships that destroyed the Canterbury were built in Earth's own shipyards, but funded by a private corporation. The one causing all of this is coming from inside Earth itself. All roads lead to Eros. Holden is looking for a Lionel Polanski. Miller is looking for Julie, and the mystery is about to be unraveled. Even in the vastness of space, there is nowhere left to hide. The crew of the Rocinante just realized they've been tagged by a Martian spy, and the UN is coming for their families. The Rocinante is on its way to Eros, but they aren't alone. After finding out that a signal is on somewhere in the ship, Amos finds a spy named Kenzo hiding in the cargo bay. He's not Martian, he's a corporate rat sent to track them. Before Amos can deal with him, a Martian patrol ship intercepts them for a casual check. Even with Fred Johnson's secret codes, the Martians aren't buying their story and are ordered to prepare for a check. The crew is seconds away from a shootout they can't win. That's when Kenzo reveals a secret. Martian Black Ops use discretionary codes to signal they are on a deep cover mission. The code? Donkey balls? With no other option, they check for a unique code and finds them. Alex repeats the ridiculous phrase over the radio, and it actually works. The Martians apologize and back off immediately, and they're saved. While the Roci escapes, the heat turns up on Earth. Avasarala visits Holden's family farm in Montana and meets his mother. She discovers Holden isn't a terrorist, as he's the genetic son of 8 parents who was raised to be a knight for the lost and the broken. She realizes he wouldn't even think to blow up the Canterbury. He's just a man trying to do the right thing in a system designed to crush him. The episode ends with a collision course. Miller is boarding a transport ship from Ceres Station to Eros to find Julie Mao's secrets, and the Roci is also heading to Eros. The Donkey Balls code saved their lives, but it won't save them from what's waiting on Eros. The crew of the Rocinante just found a ghost ship strapped to an asteroid, and what's inside is the stuff of nightmares. Following coordinates from Fred Johnson, Holden and his crew find the Anubis, the high-tech stealth ship that destroyed the Canterbury. It's abandoned and parked on a random rock in deep space, even though it's in perfect condition. When they board it, they find no crew, and it feels like everyone evacuated in a hurry as they go deeper to get to the core. It has been turned off from the inside as well, so they turned it back on, and all of a sudden blue fungus-like thing glows around the core, almost as if it's alive growing over the ship's reactor. While looking through the navs, Amos finds out they were going to Eros from Phoebe Station. As things started getting weird, the crew leaves the ship, and thinking this is some kind of a biological weapon, Holden decided to nuke it. Holden and his crew rushed to Eros to find out more. At the same time, Detective Miller arrives on the Eros station as well, following the same trail. The two storylines finally is about to collide. Detective Miller, on reaching the station, goes straight to the control room and through a very efficient way finds the room of Julie, while Miller gets help from his cop friend. Holden, using the spy, hacks into the system and figures out the hotel as well where Julie stayed. All of them now are in the hotel lobby not knowing each other. But people started showing up and Amos sees it and the whole shootout starts. But at the right time, Miller comes and helps. Miller realizes this was Kenzo the spy is doing as he sent out the info. But they finally find Julie Mao's room. Here too, Julie has turned off every energy source, but it's too late. They find her body in the shower, completely consumed by the same thing. But the horror is just beginning. Holden and Miller are now trapped on a station with a literal alien plague. Hit subscribe for the next episode. The episode flashes back to the beginning. We see Julie on the Anubis, watching in horror as the protomolecule breaks out and consumes the crew. As Julie was on a mission by Anderson Dawes on her way, a ghost ship was waiting. It intercepts Julie's hip and puts her into the Anubis, the ship that started it all, as she was the one who asked for help in the beginning, and her ship is the one that killed the Canterbury. Julie, after finally being able to walk messages, Anderson Dawes for help, and parked the Anubis in the walls of an asteroid and escapes in a life pod straight to Eros, desperately calling her father for help. But her father, Jules Pierre Mao, isn't coming to save her. He's the one funding the entire experiment. She dies alone in that hotel room, unaware that she is patient zero of a massive experiment on this alien substance. Back in the present, Eros is a slaughterhouse. Eros Station is now in full lockdown by corporate cops, CPM, and the crew is split up as Jim and Miller goes for the scientists and the rest back to the Rossi. Miller and Holden then find a shelter for the lockdown. But as they enter, there are people lying down like fish bait, and suddenly massive bursts of radiation is injected to feed the protomolecule quality food. They want to see what this alien life form does when it has 100,000 human hosts. Holden and Miller are now full of radiation poisoning as they try to reach the Rocinante. People being herded like cattle into medical bays that are actually death chambers. Fred Johnson finally reveals the truth about the attack on Donegal and Canterbury. As he recovered a data cube from the attack site, there he reveals the analysis of the attackers, and it was advanced stealth ships made in Earth itself, back in Eros Station. Holden and Miller are barely alive, crawling through the vents of Eros as their body begins to burn from radiation poisoning. They witness the final stage of the horror. The protomolecule hasn't just killed the residents, it's repurposing them, turning thousands of people into a pulsing, interconnected organic computer. Back on the Rocinante, Amos, Naomi, and Alex are trying to get to the ship, and with the help of the cop friend of Miller, get into the Rossi. But just as they enter, the cop pulls a gun on Naomi and tells her to start the ship, saying there is no time to wait for Holden. Thankfully, Amos just shoots this coward. Just as Holden and Miller reach the docks, they realize the cleaners are about to let the infection spread to the rest of the belt. In a desperate move, Miller dresses as one of the cleaners and starts a big distraction, helping him and Holden to get the docks. Miller, on reaching the airlock, weirdly enough sees Julie standing there, but of course it wasn't her. It was just Amos taking both of them to the medbay. Finally, Alex starts up the ship and flies as fast as he can from this hell of a rock. While back on Eros, the protomolecule starts to wake up, proving that the nightmare is only just beginning. The rules of the whole world just changed, and no one is safe. Hit subscribe for Season 2.